Hey everybody, welcome to another Off the Shelf board game review. This week we're looking at the Cohort from Mage Company. Now the Cohort is a family-friendly game for 2 to 6 players. It says it's plays for ages 8 and up. And it's part of a series of games from Mage Company that are going to be part of their family-friendly line. Games are going to be very family-friendly for the younger crowd, where you can play with younger children or younger children can play with adults. But the nice thing about these games is that they're not so simplistic like modern family games that are very overly simplified. These games are a little bit more challenging and allow you to have some really good decisions, but they play quickly and they're enjoyable to play. Now the first of these 3 games again is the Cohort. Now the Cohort is a take that set building game where players are trying to be the first person to complete 3 sets. The first person does so is going to be the winner of the game. And the way the game is going to be played is players are going to simply at the start of their turn, they're going to draw 2 cards into their hand. And now they don't add these cards to their hand yet. What they need to do is they need to look at these 2 cards. One of them they need to pass to another player, and the other one's going to go into their hand. Now, a trick with this, though, is that we're trying to complete sets of cards, and these are all sets that happen to match the same picture. So, for example, this set says I need 5 of these cards to complete one set. This one says I need 4 of those. This one says I need 3 of these cards to complete the set. Here's the trick, though, is that you don't want to play these cards out in front of you too quickly, because every time you play these cards out in front of you, they're going to add a permanent rule to the player who's played them out. So if I have these 3 sets of cards out in front of me, I now have 3 permanent rules I need to modify the way I play the game every time my turn comes around. For example, as long as I have at least one of these cards out, instead of drawing 2 cards directly from the draw pile, before I do that, I need to randomly take a card without looking at it and hand it to another one of the player at the table. I don't get to see that card. I may have just helped them and I may have hindered them. I don't know, because I just handed them that card. Then you have cards such as this card that says as long as I have this card out, the first of my 2 cards must come from the discard pile. Then I get to draw a card from the draw pile. Again, look at those 2 cards and pass one of those off to another player at the table. Again, that's kind of a little bit of strategy, because I'm kind of watching what the other players are getting and trying to figure out what cards I'm handing them, because I don't want to hand the game to the other player. But my eventual goal is I want to be able to complete sets of these cards. Once I manage to complete a complete set, I am no longer affected by whatever rule that card is creating for me, and I flip that over and I'm 1 of 3 victory points away from winning the game. But as soon as I complete one of these sets, I can pick another player who must discard their entire round to the discard pile. So this is a take that game. It's a very quick playing game, but the game objective again is to be the first person to complete 3 sets of cards. There's one little other caveat to the game, though, that you have to remember, which forces you to start playing these cards out to the table and suffer these penalties. Because at the end of your turn, you cannot have more than 4 cards in your hand. If you do, you must discard down to 4 cards. And as you can see, some of these sets require 5 cards and some require 3 cards, but the ones that require less cards have much more damaging negatives to your play, while the ones that require bigger sets aren't quite that bad. They can still add variety to the game, though. There's multiple different cards in the game. They all have different penalties, and some of them can be boons if you take advantage of them and play them very, very correctly. Now, like I said, this is a quick playing game. The average game is going to play in under 20 minutes. It does play up to 6 players. If you want to learn how to play the game, check out my full tutorial video. If you want to see some sample gameplay between me or myself and my 2 very rambunctious sons who have a lot of fun with this game, they like to laugh and giggle and have a lot of fun, especially because of the drawings and they take that mechanics. It's going to be a little bit of a rambunctious video, but if you want to check it out, check out my full playthrough video where we're going to play a couple rounds and we get to see one of my sons completely decimate the rest of us. Or if you just want, you can check out my final video review where I'll give you my final thoughts on the Cohort from Mage Company.